Ask an AI, what's our company's vacation policy? It answers instantly, 20 days a year, unused days roll over. Manager approval required, clean, confident, formatted like it came straight out of your handbook. Here's the problem. It has never seen your company's handbook. It's reconstructing a plausible sounding policy from 1,000 other companies' policies it saw during training. It isn't lying to you. It's doing exactly what it was built to do: predict the most likely next words. The fact that those words happen to be wrong is not something it can detect. We call this hallucination. And it's the single biggest reason most enterprise AI pilots never make it to production. Now, change one thing. Instead of asking the model to answer from memory, you hand it your actual policy document and say, answer from this. That's it. That's the whole idea behind RAG, retrieval augmented generation. Before the AI answers, it goes and gets the right information first. The name is intimidating. The idea takes 15 seconds to understand. What takes longer, and what this episode is actually about, is understanding why it works, where it breaks, and what to ask the people building it for you. Back to first principles. A language model predicts words. It has knowledge baked in from training, but that knowledge has three hard limits. It's frozen. Training ended on a specific date. Anything after that doesn't exist to the model. It's public. It learned from what was on the open internet: your contracts, your pricing sheets, your support tickets, your board deck. None of that was in there. And it's undifferentiated. The model can't tell you which of the things it knows are solid and which are half remembered. So when you ask a question that's specific, recent, or private, the model hits a wall, but it doesn't stop. It's very good at producing fluent text, so it produces fluent text. And fluent text that isn't anchored to anything is indistinguishable on the page from fluent text that is. That's what RAG or RAG fixes. It gives the model grounding, a source to stand on. Think about an exam. A normal chatbot is a student answering from memory. For what's the capital of France? Memory is fine. The question is common, the answer is stable, and the model has seen it 1,000,000 times. Now ask a different question. What's our refund window for enterprise customers after the March update? That is not a memory question. It's an open book question. And you would never want a student to guess at it. You'd want them to open the right document, find the right section, and answer from what's actually written there. That's the shift RAG makes. It turns closed book questions into open book questions. The name tells you the three steps. Retrieval, it searches for relevant information. Augmented, it adds what it found to the prompt. Generation, the model writes the answer. Retrieve, add context. Generate. Let's run that refund question through slowly. Without RAG, the model has your question and nothing else. So it produces something generic and reasonable. Enterprise customers typically have a 30-day refund window. Maybe that's right. You have no way to tell from the answer. With RAG, 4 things happen before you see anything. Step 1. Your question goes to a retrieval system, a search layer sitting on top of your actual content. Policy PDFs, help center articles, contracts, internal wikis, product documentation. Step 2. It pulls back the most relevant passages. Not whole documents, passages. Maybe it finds a section titled Enterprise Refund Terms, and inside it, a paragraph saying refunds are available within 14 days, but only before onboarding begins. Step 3. Those passages get inserted into the model's context alongside your question. The model now sees, here's what the user asked, and here's the material to answer it from. Step 4. The model writes the answer from that material. 14 days before onboarding begins, which is nothing like 30. That's the whole trick. RAG doesn't make the model smarter. It makes the model better informed at the exact moment it answers. Here's the picture to keep in mind. The AI is an extremely articulate person sitting at a desk, excellent writer, explains anything clearly. But working entirely from memory, RAG gives that person a library, not the whole library dumped on the desk. That's too much, and context windows have limits. Instead, a librarian runs into the stacks, pulls the 3 or 4 most relevant pages. sets them down and says, use these. The retrieval system is the librarian. Your documents are the library. The model is the writer. And that framing tells you something uncomfortable. The answer can only ever be as good as the pages the librarian brings back. Which is why I want to be precise about this. RAG reduces hallucination. It does not eliminate it. Four things still go wrong, and they go wrong constantly in real deployments. Retrieval brings back the wrong thing. You ask about refunds. It surfaces the warranty policy. The model then answers confidently from the wrong document. This is the most common failure and the hardest to spot because the answer looks perfect. The source is stale. Your document store has version 2.1 and version 2.4. Retrieval picks 2.1. The model gives you an obsolete answer beautifully written with a citation. The citation makes it more convincing, not less. The model misreads the source. Even with the right passage, it can drop an exception, flatten a condition, or overstate a claim. Employees may work remotely up to 3 days per week becomes employees may work remotely, and the words during security incidents all employees must work on site quietly vanish. The answer needs 3 sources, and it found one. Part of the answer is in the contract, part in the regional policy, part in the product terms. Retrieve one, and you get an answer that's correct and incomplete, which in a compliance context is just wrong with extra steps. So RAG isn't a truth machine, it's a grounding technique. It gives the model better material to work with. You still need good documents, good search, clear instructions, and human verification where it counts. There's one failure mode that doesn't get talked about enough, and for anyone deploying this inside a company, it's the one that ends careers. If you point a retrieval system at your file store, it will retrieve from your file store, all of it, including the compensation spreadsheet, the unannounced reorg deck, and the legal memo about the thing you're not supposed to know about. A RAG system has to enforce the same access controls as the underlying systems, per user, at query time. If your assistant can find a document the person asking isn't clear to see, you haven't built a knowledge assistant. You've built a very polite data leak. Ask about this early. It is far harder to retrofit than to design in. This is the question I get every single time, so let's deal with it. Sometimes training is the right answer, but usually, for company knowledge, it isn't. And the reason is timing. Training changes the model permanently in advance. RAG gives the model information at answer time. If your pricing changes monthly, you do not want to retrain a large model monthly. You want to update one document and have the system retrieve the current version the next time somebody asks. Update the source, not the model. Training is teaching somebody something permanently. RAG is handing them the right page right before they answer. There's a useful rule of thumb here. Fine-tuning changes how the model behaves. Its tone, its format, its style, its adherence to your process. RAG changes what the model knows, the facts available to it right now. If your problem is it doesn't sound like us, that's fine-tuning. If your problem is it doesn't know our stuff, that's RAG. Most companies think they need the first and actually need the second. And a third option people forget. If your answer lives in a database, don't do document search. Query the database. RAG is for unstructured content, documents, tickets, pages, transcripts. Pointing it at something that should have been a SQL query is a very expensive way to get a worse answer. Here's where most RAG projects actually die. Teams add RAG and declare hallucinations solved. It isn't. RAG is only as good as the system around it. Messy files in, messy answers out, 6 versions of the same policy in a shared drive, and retrieval has no way to know which one is current. Outdated policy in, outdated answer out. Wrong retrieval in, confidently wrong response out. Picture asking a librarian for the tax policy and getting handed the cafeteria menu. The writer still produces something polished. It's just beautifully wrong. So when a company builds one of these, the hard part is almost never the model. The model is the commodity. The hard part is the knowledge. Are the documents accurate? Are they current? Is there one version of each or 9? Can the system reliably find the right passage? Can it show you where the answer came from? And this is the one people forget. Will it say, I don't know, when the source doesn't cover it? That last behavior is not a nice to have. An assistant that admits it can't find something is more valuable than one that always produces an answer. Make it a requirement, not a hope. So, what does this mean for you? Stop thinking of AI as one brain that either knows or doesn't. Think of it as two modes: memory mode, answering from what it learned. Fine for general questions. What is photosynthesis? How does a mortgage work? Explain cloud computing. Source mode, answering from material you gave it. This is what you want anytime accuracy matters. And you can run source mode manually today in any chat tool. Paste the document, upload the file, point it at the policy, ask it to quote the section it used. That's you doing RAG by hand, retrieving the source and handing it over. The better the source you provide, the better the answer can be. Here are 4 rules to make AI more useful. 1. Give it the source. Don't ask, what does our policy say, unless the AI actually has the policy. Paste it, upload it, or connect it. 2. Constrain it to the source. Use only the document I provided. If the answer isn't in it, say so. That second sentence does most of the work. 3. Demand evidence. A good answer points back to a paragraph, page, or section. No source, less trust. If a vendor demos an assistant with no citations, that's not a feature gap. That's the whole thing missing. 4. Verify what's expensive to get wrong. Legal, medical, financial, compliance, contracts, numbers, dates, direct quotes. Don't stop at the summary. Open the source. RAG makes AI more useful. It doesn't transfer your responsibility for being right. There's one piece we've skipped, and it's the interesting one. How does the system find the right passage in the first place? You asked about the refund window, but your policy document might never use that phrase. It might say reimbursement, or cancellation terms, or credit eligibility. Keyword search would miss all 3. So modern retrieval doesn't search for words, it searches for meaning. To do that, it converts text into numbers, coordinates in a space where similar meanings sit close together. Those numbers are called embeddings. They live in something called a vector database. That's the engine under most RAG systems. The simple version: a normal chatbot answers from what it learned. A RAG system retrieves the relevant material first, hands it to the model, and then asks for the answer. That one change is what moves AI from impressive demo to useful system. It's how you get current information, private information, company-specific information, and answers you can trace back to a source. But it's grounding, not magic. Wrong source, wrong answer. Failed retrieval, wrong answer. Misread source, wrong answer. Which leaves you with one thing to remember. Don't just ask AI to sound smart. Give it something true to work with. If this was useful, subscribe. See you then.